If you've ever felt the sting of betrayal, the heartache of losing someone you trusted, or the quiet strength of reclaiming your life, you're not alone. Stories like these remind us that even in our darkest moments, we can find the courage to walk away, to rebuild, and to thrive. If this story resonated with you, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more real-life tales of heartbreak, betrayal, and the resilience of the human spirit. Share your thoughts below. What would you have done if you were in James's shoes? Welcome to Breakup Cheater, where real-life stories of heartbreak, betrayal, and chilling life experiences come alive. Here we dive deep into the moments that haunt us, the choices that change everything, and the secrets people try to hide. If you crave stories that grip your emotions, make your heart race, and leave you thinking long after the video ends, you've come to the right place. Stay with me. The truth is often darker than fiction. I still remember the sound of the door clicking shut that night, a sound that would haunt me for months. I had been at work late, the weight of yet another tedious project dragging me down, and all I wanted was the comfort of my home, the quiet hum of our apartment, the warmth of our bed. But when I opened that door, nothing was as it should have been. Her laugh. That unmistakable, intimate laugh. It wasn't mine. I froze, every nerve ending alert, as I followed the sound down the hallway. There she was, my wife Laura, in our bedroom, tangled in the arms of another man. A man I didn't know. And in that instant, the world shifted beneath my feet. The memory is sharp, almost surgical in its clarity. I remember gripping the doorframe, my knuckles white, trying to make sense of the scene. She looked up, her eyes wide, not with guilt, but with panic. I can explain, she stammered, fumbling with the sheets, but I couldn't hear her. My ears were deafened by the sound of my own heartbeat. I walked away. Not toward her, not toward confrontation. I walked out. I didn't scream, didn't throw accusations. I just left. I walked away from my home, from my life, from everything I thought I had. I drove aimlessly through the night, the city lights blurring into streaks of pain and disbelief. And somewhere along the way, I realized something. I wasn't walking away from her. I was walking away from the man I had been. The man who believed in loyalty, in love, in us. That man was gone. For weeks, I stayed at a small hotel downtown. I didn't answer calls. I didn't return texts. Friends and colleagues thought I was taking a break, maybe a mental health hiatus, but in reality, I was dying slowly inside, each memory of her betrayal scraping at my soul like sandpaper. I didn't want her explanation, her apology, her excuses. I didn't want to see her face. All I wanted was to disappear from the life I had built for both of us. And then the letters started. At first, they were brief, 1 or 2 sentences, apologetic in tone. I miss you. I was wrong. Please talk to me. I didn't respond. Not once. Each envelope was a dagger, reopening wounds that were still raw and bleeding. Weeks turned into months, and her letters became longer, more desperate. She claimed she had made a mistake, that she had loved me, that she had been confused. I read them all in silence, not because I was considering returning, but because I needed to understand the woman I thought I knew. A year passed. 12 months of silence, solitude, and reconstruction. I moved into a small apartment on the other side of the city, far from the apartment we had shared. I started painting again, something I hadn't done since college. I started running every morning before the sun even thought to rise. I started to find pieces of myself I didn't know existed. I wasn't happy, not yet, but I was breathing again. And then, one rainy afternoon, she appeared. I was at a cafe, sketching the view of the rain-soaked street, when she walked in. Laura. Drenched, umbrella dripping, hair plastered to her face. She froze when she saw me, her eyes widening in the same way they had the night I left. But this time there was no panic, only regret. James, she said softly, almost a whisper, as if saying my name could bring me back. I didn't respond. I set my pencil down slowly, letting the silence stretch between us like a canyon. I know you hate me, she continued, her voice trembling. I know I destroyed everything. I've spent the last year trying to make sense of it, trying to to find myself without you. But I need you to know the truth. I didn't move. I didn't speak. I didn't want to. I wasn't sure I could handle the truth from her mouth. You caught me, she said finally, tears spilling over. And I didn't deserve your forgiveness. I didn't deserve anything. But I need you to hear this from me. It wasn't just a mistake. It was selfishness, weakness. I was scared, and I did something unforgivable. I know that now. But I've changed, James. I've really changed. Her words were like a storm against the fragile calm I had built. Part of me wanted to believe her, to hear that maybe she had finally understood the pain she caused. But another part of me, every fiber of me, knew that nothing she said could undo the year I had spent feeling abandoned, worthless, hollow. Why now? I asked finally, my voice rough, my hands trembling slightly as I gripped the edge of the table. Why come back after a year? Do you think one confession erases 12 months of silence? 12 months of walking through life without you? She lowered her gaze. I don't expect anything from you. I'm not here to ask for forgiveness. I needed you to know. I needed to tell you the truth because I've carried the lie for too long, and it's killing me inside. I can't live with this guilt anymore. I stared at her, really looked at her. The woman I had loved, the woman I had trusted with everything, was sitting across from me, broken and begging not for my forgiveness but for my understanding. And in that moment, I realized something I hadn't admitted even to myself. I still loved her. Not the way I used to, maybe not blindly or foolishly, but in a quiet, aching way that refused to be silenced. I can't, I whispered more to myself than to her. I can't go back. I can't pretend that the past year didn't happen. That night changed everything. You changed everything. She nodded slowly, tears tracing lines down her face. I know. And I don't expect you to come back. I just wanted you to know. We sat in silence for a long time, the rain drumming against the windows, each drop a reminder of the world outside that had continued to move while we had been frozen in our own private storm. Finally I stood. I have to go, I said quietly. I'm not angry. Not really. I need to keep moving forward. And you need to do the same. She reached for my hand, a gesture of hope, of reconciliation, but I stepped back. I can't, I repeated. This is goodbye. And then I left. Walking through the rain, I felt a strange mixture of relief and sorrow. Relief because I was finally taking control of my life again, of my story. Sorrow because the woman I had loved, the woman I had believed in, was still out there, broken and sorry, and there was nothing I could do to fix her or us. Over the next weeks, I focused entirely on myself. I poured myself into my work, into my art, into the small routines that reminded me I was alive. I reconnected with old friends, started running in the mornings again, and even began dating casually. Nothing serious. Nothing that threatened the fragile sense of self I had rebuilt. And then, one evening, as I was closing up my apartment after a long day, my phone buzzed. It was a text from her. I'll always love you. I hope you find happiness, James. Truly. I didn't respond. I didn't need to. Because I had found a form of happiness already. One that wasn't tied to her approval, her love, or her betrayal. It was mine. A year had passed. A year since the night that shattered everything I thought I knew about love, trust, and life. And yet, standing alone in my apartment, looking out at the city lights that no longer blurred into pain, I felt a strange kind of peace. I had walked away from my life, yes, but in doing so I had found myself. And that, in the end, was something worth everything I had lost. Thank you for joining me tonight. If this story touched you, haunted you, or made you think about the choices we make in love and life, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more real, intense stories. Comment below with your thoughts. Have you ever faced betrayal, heartbreak, or had to make the hardest choice of your life? I want to hear your experiences. Remember, these stories are more than just entertainment. They're a reminder that even in the darkest moments, there's strength, resilience, and the courage to walk away when it matters most. Until next time. Stay aware, stay safe, and keep your heart strong.